Alex here, and I'm going to teach you some German today. Um, I hope to keep making these videos. I know enough German now. I've been teaching myself for a few years, and I've taken some courses and things, and I know enough now to teach some people, some grammar and a good amount, verb tenses and things. So, but today we're going to start off with some basic phrases and things, like if you meet somebody, how to introduce yourself, how to say hello, um, simple things like that. So, without further ado, I will teach you how to say hello. Now, the word for hello in German is hallo. Hallo obviously is, almost the same as in English. Um, Pretty simple. Hello, hallo. Um, you might also want to say things like good day, which is guten Tag. Now, depending on what time of day it is, you might also want to say good morning or good evening. Good morning is guten Morgen, and good evening is guten Abend. Now, obviously, I guess you could say guten Abend in the afternoon too, I suppose. And you can use guten Tag whenever, obviously. Good day always applies. Um, what else? Well, you can also say Grüß Gott, which is kind of sort of like God bless. Um, Not like when you sneeze, that's Gesundheit, as everybody knows. But it's kind of a nice greeting too. It doesn't carry the same thing it would in English. If you say God bless to somebody on the street in English, it's you wouldn't do that here, but there it's different. Um, if you see somebody, you might want to ask, "How are you?" Or somebody might ask you, "How are you?" And you'd probably want to know how to respond. So to say "How are you?" you say "Wie geht's?" Um, Now there's a couple different ways you can say "Wie geht's?" "Wie geht's?" is basically a contraction of the formal way to say it, or the proper version of saying it. You would say "Wie geht es Ihnen?" which is "How are you?" You could also say "Wie geht es dir?" Now, the difference between "Wie geht es Ihnen" and "Wie geht es dir" is that Ihnen is the formal version of you, and dir is the informal version. Like most languages have that, where you have a formal version of you and an informal version of you. Like thee and thou in Old English. I mean, we don't have it anymore in English, but that used to be the way you would differentiate between somebody who was, of higher class or an important person, or someone that you knew informally that was very close to you, a friend or something. But anyways, I digress. Too much history. I'm a history major, so I always blab on about history things. Um, in order to respond to the question of how are you, you can say a number of things depending on how you're feeling that day. The standard thing you would say is I am well, which is simply Ich bin gut. Now, Ich bin gut means I am well, obviously. But the thing is, in English, we have the words good and well. And people say, oh, I'm good. But, technically that's wrong. You would want to say I am well. Now, in German, gut means both good and well, which makes it easier. You don't have to worry about, messing up your adjectives and adverbs when you're talking to somebody who's a native speaker. Makes it a bit easier. I don't think they'd care if you messed it up, but you can't because there's only one word for it. So you can say ich bin gut. If you're feeling very well, you might say ich bin sehr gut. I am very well. I don't know. Maybe you got a new puppy that morning and you're happy about it. Um, if you're not doing very well at all, say you got some delicious strawberry ice cream and then you dropped it on the ground and it was very sad and awful. You would say ich bin schrecklich. I am awful or terrible. I'm not doing well at all. It's been a sad day. I lost my ice cream cone, damn it. Um, you know, that's that. Let's say you try and salvage the ice cream cone and you slurp it up off the ground with all its nasty ground germs and things, and you don't feel very well afterwards. You could say, Ich bin krank. Ich bin krank means I am sick. I am feeling ill. So that's that. And also, if you're just feeling okay, you can simply say, Ich bin okay. It's just like in English, I'm okay. Um, I guess if you want to say I'm all right, you could also say Ich bin in Ordnung, which you wouldn't really use that to say I'm okay, as in I am decent. It more so means I'm all in order. Um, I am healthy. Like, say somebody trips and falls, you would say, "Are you all right?" And the person would say, "Ich bin Ordnung," if they were okay. But I guess you could still say that. I mean, I'm not a native, so I don't know, but technically that would work. Um, You might want to ask somebody their name if you meet them in a German speaking country, or somebody might ask you your name. I don't know, maybe you call up a restaurant and you want to make a reservation while you're traveling or something like that. Um, there are two different ways to ask somebody their name in German. One of them, you could say, Was ist Ihr Name? Was ist Ihr Name literally means, what is your name? It's the same exact construction as in English in terms of the syntax and the words that we would use. It's a direct translation. You could also say, Wie heißt du? Or Wie heißen Sie? Now, again, the difference is Wie heißt du is the informal version, whereas Wie heißen Sie is the formal version. Very simple, again, like we just discussed. You would use Wie heißen Sie, say if you were meeting somebody like a business partner that you hadn't met before, or a professor or a teacher that you haven't met, or, maybe, I don't know, a great uncle that you haven't met before, or an older relative, you would use the formal version. Whereas if you're just with your friends, or, maybe your parents, if you're close with them, people that you're close with and that you have a pretty informal relationship with, you just say Wie geht es dir? I'm sorry, Wie heißt du? I'm mixing up my things now. But anyways, there's a couple of different ways you can respond to that. What is your name? You can say Mein Name ist blank, which means my name is blank. So I would say Mein Name ist Alex, because my name's Alex. That's who I am. Alternatively, you could say Ich heiße blank. Ich heiße means I am called. So when somebody asks Wie heißt du, they're asking what are you called? Which, you could either ask what is your name or what are you called. They're both equally correct. So there's that. And after somebody introduces themselves to you, you might want to say Freut mich and shake their hand. Freut mich means it pleases me. Pleased to meet you, basically. And also when you're shaking people's hands in foreign countries, I don't know, there's a stereotype that Americans, have this like tight grip on the handshake. Don't do that, because in Europe it's different. You don't want to crush the person's hand. It's, it's not doesn't do you any good. It just, offends people. Another good thing to ask a stranger if you're meeting somebody for the first time or you're having a little conversation in German is where are you from? Especially if you're a tourist somewhere, say you're traveling in Austria, Germany, Switzerland, anywhere that they speak German. Someone will probably ask you, where are you from? If you sound foreign or you're speaking a different language. So to say, where are you from? You say, Woher kommen Sie? I mean, you could also say, Woher kommst du? And the rules are the same as we saw earlier. Sie, formal, du, informal. But anyways, you can ask that, and then to respond, you would, state your country, city, place of origin. So somebody asks me, Woher kommen Sie? I would say, Ich komme aus den USA. I come from the USA. Or, Ich komme aus Amerika. I come from America. Or, depending on where you're from, you would obviously, change the answer accordingly. Ich komme aus Canada. I use that example because Canada in German is spelled with a K. So is America. The K, I don't know. Seeing the K in there makes me giggle because it's kind of, weird for an English speaker to see a K in front of Canada. It's kind of fun. And finally, saying goodbye. Very simple. You could say Auf Wiedersehen, which everybody knows, literally means until we see each other again. You could also say Bis später. Now, bis später is literally means until later. So that's kind of like later, dude, kind of informal. You could also say Tschüss, which is just bye. Tschüss. If you're on the phone, also there's different things you can say. Like you could say Auf Wiederhören, which means until we hear each other again. It's like Auf Wiedersehen, but with your ears. And also, what I hear my dad say all the time when he's on the phone with my Austrian relatives is Tschüss fertig, which kind of translates to like over and out, like PCO, I'm out, like conversation is over. Doesn't literally mean PCO, I'm out, but kind of that same connotation, meaning with it. But anyways, that's all I had for now. I had a prop that I had made. It was a fake mustache, and it was going to be awesome. But I lost it. So I can't use it. But what I was gonna do is, stage a fake conversation with myself. I would say something and then fake mustache, fake voice, German accent, respond to kind of help you figure out, these new phrases and things, hear them in some kind of context. But unfortunately, since I lost the mustache, I'd feel stupid talking to myself. So I'll work it into the next video somehow, I promise, because it looked fine. It was pretty funny. But anyways, I hope that was kind of helpful and that you learned something and that you enjoyed it. So, auf Wiedersehen!